From the dawn of man, indigenous people from every corner of the globe have spoken of things that have now been discounted as myth or legend. Things they saw, lived alongside by, were looked upon as deities or worshipped by gods. Things that present-day man refer to as entities, spirits, demons, cryptid creatures, extraterrestrials, and much more. But sadly, modern man, science and society has discounted what our ancestors spoke of as legend and myths. But there are those of us that know what the ancient ones spoke of is the truth, those of us who are obsessed with finding out the truth. This search for answers brings us into the world of the unknown and unexplained. It brings us on the trail, in search of living legends. Please join us tonight in another part of our journey to find these answers and bring the truth out into the light. Welcome and thank you for listening.
Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Jerimiah Fountain from On the Trail Paranormal Research Group, bringing you episode 13 of On the Trail and Search for Living Legends. Episode 13. Tonight we've got a great guest joining us. Got some good stuff. Good researcher, knows his stuff. Should be a pretty good show. Before I introduce him, as usual, I've got my faithful co-host and partner, Mr. Shawn Wilson. Shawn, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I like to think of myself as a sidekick, though.
Would you rather be called a sidekick?
No, I'm just kidding, man. I'm good.
Whatever. I tell you what, Shawn. Whatever you want to be referred to as, that's your choice, buddy. But how are you? Doing all right? Did you get your truck fixed?
Yeah. It took a minute, but I got it taken care of. So I'm back on the road. I'm good.
Good deal.
All right.
And I know the man isn't good. Glad you got it taken care of anyway. Well, and I know our this man right here doesn't like to step out of the shadows, but he's gonna say hello tonight. It's our editor / producer Zarin Cantilla. Zarin, how are you, bud?
Good evening, Jeremiah. Glad to be here. Say anything you want. I'll just beep it out if I don't like it.
All right. I guess that's your hello. All right. And tonight for this episode, we've got Mr. Michael Patterson from Blue Ridge Sasquatch Research Group. Looking forward to hearing some good stuff out of him tonight. We were supposed to have his partner Travis Bone with us. Unfortunately, Travis is sick. We're going to have him on 2 weeks from today. Actually, we've already got it penciled in. But we're definitely looking forward to listening to some of Mike's stuff tonight. Mike, how are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Before we usually like to start off, can you mind giving us a quick bio on yourself, and how you got into the field?
Yeah, I'm 48, married, father of 5, 4 girls, 1 boy. Back before all this happened to me, I was a real skeptic. I really was. I just thought, Sasquatch was a thing in the Pacific Northwest. I didn't have any idea how wrong I really was. But anyway, yeah, I'm happy father of 5.
Good. That's awesome. Now, how did you actually get into the research itself?
Well, I mean, after my encounter happened, I spent the next 3 decades just in complete withdrawal. I didn't
Right.
I didn't want to discuss it with anybody. For the first 7 years, I was literally, I was in complete denial. I mean, because you have to realize back in '89 there wasn't no internet, and
Right.
so, I mean, I read everything I could get my hands on, but I went all these years and didn't even know what we encountered was a Sasquatch because it was white. And not only that, we were on the East Coast, and for years we didn't know what would come after us. We had no idea what would come after us.
All right, so it was white then, Mike, huh? Like are you talking like a pure white or like a whitish, like a lighter colored gray?
Oh, it's just dingy. I'll get to that in the encounter. Back then.
Okay.
That's cool. Back then it wasn't no LED. All we had was halogen. Halogen, like, you remember old car headlights? They had like a little yellowish tint to them.
That would make them look a little bit yellow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to get into that encounter and tell us what happened?
Yeah, no problem at all. It was summer 1989. I want to say July. Me and 6 friends, we all got together, and they had decided that they wanted to do a little drinking. And when you're 18, parents and law enforcement ain't real cool with drinking. But anyway, so we ended up picking about as rural places we could find to go. And one of my friends' women was female, and she would sneak out, to be with her boyfriend, which was one of my other friends. And that'll all make sense here in a few minutes. But we decided to go up to a place. We used to go crappie fishing a lot here in Pennsylvania County, Virginia. It's called White Oak Mountain Wildlife Management Area, and it's 3,000 acres. And the place has got 12 ponds on it. And we used to go up there all the time, crappie fishing, but never after dark. We was always out of there by dark. And so, buddy of mine, he had a Toyota 4-wheel drive. It lifted up, high off the ground. That'll make sense here in a minute too. But, so we went and, got the booze and everything. I collected everybody, and we went up there, and we went forward for a little while. Nothing major, just on an old logging road. And I came out on a place that is way down deep in there, about as deep as you can go. And we pulled over. I was driving. I was a designated driver that night. I was going to drink, but later, because I hadn't been long, got my license. I didn't want to lose it. But anyway, we pulled over, and everybody got out. And I remember looking back, it makes a lot of sense. It didn't make much at the moment, but one of my buddies had commented on how quiet it was down there. And in Virginia, we get flooded with cicadas in the summertime, and they can be, they're loud at times. You have to really holler over them. And, but we, looking back, we didn't hear no cicadas, no frogs, no whippoorwills, nothing. I've never heard the Virginia backcountry that quiet. And like I say, at the time, I didn't think a whole lot about it, but looking back, it makes a ton of sense. And anyway, we all, everybody got out, and we had a catfish tournament coming up for trophy cats. This is it's a big tournament held here every year. It's an annual tournament where I live at. And, they was drinking, and we was kidding around. We weren't loud or nothing. We had the radio going kind of low because we didn't want to haul over that either. And, just, it was a normal teenager night. Nothing out of the ordinary. It was hot. It was real hot. It's kind of heat you remember. And had plenty of ambient light. The moon was either full or pretty close to it. If it wasn't full, it was pretty close because we had good ambient light. And we sitting there talking, man, and about 50 to 75 yards deep behind me, we heard a huge crash. And I don't know if it was something falling out of a tree or a tree getting pushed over. To this day, I don't know what that crash was. But, you know, it got our attention. And immediately after the crash, we started hearing footsteps. And they were bipedal. I mean, I spent my whole life in the woods, and I've heard everything out there from coyotes to bears to, I mean, I know two legs when I hear it, and it was bipedal, and it was making a grunting, growling sound. It was real deep and guttural. It sounded a little bit agitated, but it started moving, taking these steps. It seemed like to me that with each step it took, they felt like sounded like they got heavier. And I mean, we just couldn't make no sense at all. I mean, we was wondering, you know, maybe if it was a man. I mean, what would a man be doing in a tree in the middle of nowhere at 11:30 at night? And so, you know, that made no sense. But it started moving away from us. So, I mean, at first I didn't really feel that much threatened by it because it was moving away from us. We had a 1 million candle power spotlight in the truck, and it's one of them old ones that had like a telephone cord on it where, you know, you plug into your cigarette lighter. Yep. And I plugged it up, and I kept a couple of times I threw the light down towards it to try to get an eye on it, and man, it's so thick right there, and it was kudzu, like just a wall of kudzu, and it's a thick pine thicket. So every time that I hit the light, it would just come right back in my eyes and blind me. I didn't try it but a couple times. After it blinded me, I didn't do it no more, but I couldn't get no light on it. But, you know, it kept making those sounds, and it was moving away, and kind of moving in a semicircle. But, you know, looking back, it knew exactly what it was doing. It was putting distance between us, but, you know, I didn't know that at the time. But we listened to it, and right before it was coming up on a clearing, and man, right before it hit that clearing, it cut loose with a roar / howl / growl. I mean, I don't know what you call it. All I know is it was so loud, I thought it was going to break the windows in the truck. It distorted my vision. I mean, it's like my eyeballs vibrated. It really distorted my vision. Yeah. And right after that, the vocal, it stepped out into the clearing. And when it stepped out, I lit it up. And oh my God, I mean, our world changed right there. There wasn't no normal anymore. Everything that I'd ever learned went out the window. Yeah. And yeah, it was, and it was huge, man. It was, I know exactly how tall it was. That'll make sense in a little while too. Anyway, it was 8.5 feet tall, and I know that for a fact. But girth, I mean, it was about 4 feet wide at the shoulders, and girth-wise, I'm 6'3" and 250. And girth-wise, it would take 3 of me to be the size of that thing. Wow. So I'm assuming it probably weighed somewhere in the neighborhood of about 700 pounds. That's just a guesstimate, because I know from what research I've been doing that their muscle mass is more concentrated than ours, so it's probably heavier than that.
Yeah,
but you know, that's just a guess.
Probably closer to 1,000, even maybe. You know. Yeah,
you don't know, because like I said, their muscle density is way more than ours.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and when it stepped out, one of the first things I noticed was its forearms. The forearms are massive. I mean, ridiculous. It's Popeye comes to mind. Every time I think about it, I think about Popeye with them great big forearms, because they don't look natural. It's crazy how they look. And but it was swaying left, right, and I got some eye shine off of it. It was like a greenish yellow eye shine. It would, as it moved, the color would change a little bit from green to yellow. And, you know, we were froze. I mean, it won't even, we were just froze. We couldn't move. Everybody was just in shock. I mean, you're looking at something that isn't supposed to exist. You know,
Yes.
you grow up all your life. You grow up all your life, and your parents tell you that monsters aren't real, and you know, here you are looking at one, and it did that swaying left to right a few times. I mean, it's probably more than a few times. Kind of stood still there for a little while. It seemed like forever. In actuality, it probably won't, but you know, a few seconds. But when it made it, to put it in perspective, we were in its 2 o'clock position, and we were 30 feet above it. In order for it to hit the road that we were parked on, it had to go up a 30-foot embankment to the road, you know, to get level with us. And on the last sway, when it went to its right, it went up that bank. And I mean, man, it did it in like 3 steps up to the road. I have never seen nothing living move like that thing moves. And when it made that balloons to go up that bank, that's when we panicked. We all lost it. I mean, we were fighting for position, freaking out. You know, I remember cranking the truck, but I don't remember even getting in it. I just remember cranking it, and the truck was a 5-speed, and I was scared to death that I was going to stall it because it was still in 4 high where we had been forward, and I did not want to stall it. And I just remember floorboarding the gas and popping the clutch, you know, so that I didn't stall it. And, you know, it took off spinning. And, man, when I had run through first and I was going to second, and when I got to second, I looked up in the rear view, and I could see its torso. The park lights were lighting it up, not the brake light. I never hit the brake. The park lights were lighting it up, and I could see its torso. And the guy that owned the truck was with us, and he had a 30-ton bottle jack in the back of the truck. This is a jack they used to set mobile homes up with. That's what he did for a living. And that 30-ton jack, anybody that has ever used one, those things weigh about 30 pounds. And one of my other buddies, it was in the back of the truck, threw the jack at it, and it bounced off. No effect whatsoever. I remember him screaming, the jack bounced off. It bounced off. And so when I went to second, I looked up at it, and I seen it in the rear view, and I was coming up on a curve, and, you know, this is a gravel road. And when I went around that curve, I almost lost control of it. I mean, if I hadn't looked up when I did, we'd have kept going right and wrecked it. But I managed finally to get back a hold to it. I did not want to wreck down there with that thing. I mean, that is the last thing I wanted to do. So I didn't look up no more. I mean, after that, I didn't look back. And we ended up, we got away from it. But the girl that was with us, oh, man, I mean, it messed her up bad. And I mean, not just that night. I mean, it messed her up mentally for the rest of her life. I mean, it messed her up. That was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I had to take that girl home to her parents. I had no idea, you know, she had left the house, and explain to these people what happened to their daughter. And I mean, I got 4 girls, and her daddy, he came out, and he had his arms crossed, just looking down at the ground going, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And to be honest with you, if it was my kid, I wouldn't believe it either. I really wouldn't, but I was telling the man the truth. And he thought that we had done something to hurt her, and her mama had got her in the house and had got enough out of her that she told her mama that we didn't hurt her, you know, it's just we seen something that scared her real bad. All she knew was it was white. And anyway, that we left there and, you know, went on back down, and we lived out in the country. I needed a drink by that point. But I kept waiting for the law to show up because of what happened with her, but they never did. I mean, they never called the law. They knew where we lived at. I mean, but I kept waiting for the law to show up. But we went back the next day, and it was totally against my better judgment. But my buddy had to have that jack because he had a job starting Monday morning, and he needed the jack. And, you know, back then there wasn't no place open for him to buy another one. So he had to have that one. And we went back up there, me and him, and we found it. But we found it 100 yards from where it was thrown out at. I bet it, to this day, I don't know how it got. I don't know if it threw it or if it toyed with it or what. Right. But it was bright. Yeah, it was bright red. And if it hadn't been bright red, we'd have never found it. But, yeah, man, it was 100 yards away from where it was thrown. Wow. And after we found the jack, I had noticed that night when I lit that thing up, it was a branch that was right at its head. This is how I know how tall it was. It was a branch. It was right at its head when I lit it up. And I got the tape measure. My buddy has tape measure. It's his work truck. But and I measured from the ground to that branch, and it was 8.5 feet. And that branch was almost level with the top of its head. That's how I know it was exactly 8.5 feet, give or take a couple of inches. It was, it was right at 8.5 feet. But, you know, that girl never fully recuperated from that. Anytime it ever, we got to the point where we didn't bring it up at all around her. It come up a couple of times before we realized how bad she was messed up. And every time it came up, man, she would just lose it, hyperventilate. I mean, just start shaking her hands. I mean, and man, you know, that later on, she ended up dying of an overdose. Oh, I wasn't with her. I don't know if the overdose was accidental or on purpose. I have no idea. I just know that she passed away of an overdose.
Or do you think this thing screwed her up so bad that's what got her into the substance abuse, maybe?
Yeah, I think that probably got her started down that road trying to cope because I went into alcoholism, man. I mean, I went 2 decades and I drank every day of my life. I was clinically diagnosed with PTSD, severe anxiety, and but you know, the internet came along, and once the internet came along, and I finally got on board with it because it was years it was out, and I didn't even have a computer because I wasn't savvy. But once I started doing a little research, and I seen what these things can be white, and that's exactly, you know, I seen one. I was like, that's what Chase does, and that's when two and two came together, and it was a Sasquatch. But we didn't know that at the time, you know. Back in '89. Sasquatch was in the Pacific Northwest, and they was all brown or black, you know. We didn't even know there was such a thing as a white one.
No. Mike, did you get a good look at the face at all? The
only thing that I can remember.
Too quick.
Yeah, I mean, well, that, and I don't have the greatest eyesight. I'm diabetic, and it's done its damage to my eyes. But
I got you.
But I remember that the brow ridge, it had a real pronounced brow ridge, and its eyes were far apart. They weren't like humans. The eyes are further apart.
Okay.
And, I mean, I remember that, but as far as expressions or, you know, details like shape of the nose or teeth, I couldn't see that. Not from... Because when it finally came out, that thing was about 100, 150 yards down behind us, and that's what I said when it was moving away. It knew exactly what it was doing because it put distance between us. I guess so it could size us up and see what the threat was. But you know, I've been trying to figure out for 30 years what we did to make it so angry. I don't know. Yeah. You know. If it was hunting or if it had a small one close by, or some people have suggested, because we was listening to AC/DC on the radio, and that's kind of an aggressive music. Yeah, some people have said that. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that definitely. I think either one of the three you just mentioned, that could have been something that would have pissed them off. You know.
Yeah, exactly, sure. And to this day, I don't know exactly what it was, you know, but that's what got me on this Bigfoot quest, if you want to call it that. And then now, people don't realize how vital information is when you go through something like that. Because if I'd have had the information back then that I have now, my recovery would have been way easier. Way easier.
Right.
Definitely. I mean, information is critical.
It is. Yeah.
I think that's really a big part of why we do this, is to expose these animals to the general public and to help people, because we both had experiences too, and it messed my head up pretty good for sure. And if I wouldn't
Me
have
too.
Well, initially it was Wes from Sasquatch Chronicles. He heard me out, and I was on a show, and being able to talk to somebody about it really, I mean, I can't tell you how much that helped me, because my own family to this day still doesn't believe me, So
Wes was the first interview I done. I've been on Sasquatch Chronicles too. Wes was the first interview I done, and but yeah, I mean, people don't realize that once you get that off your chest, how much better you feel.
Yeah, it's 1,000-pound weight off your chest.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then I do every interview I can, because I'm trying to spread awareness. I mean, I don't want to inspire fear. I'm trying to spread awareness that when you interact with these things, you have got to be ready for everything.
That's right.
They all don't want to act on cue, and they all don't want to eat out of your gift basket. They all don't want to be friends. I mean,
that's right, Mike. Couldn't agree with you more on that, man. Could not agree with you more. You got to be, like you just said, you got to be, when you interact with these things, you got to be ready for anything, because you do not know what they are going to do.
Exactly, man. And I mean, I see people on the internet all the time, and I'm looking at what they're doing, and I'm going, oh no, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I mean, but if doing these interviews, if I reach one person and save one person, man, it was all worthwhile.
Same here.
Yep. Absolutely. Could you talk a little bit more about the structure of this thing? Did you notice how long the arms were? You figured out how tall it was, but I mean, the shoulders, the arms, the neck. And another question: have you seen the video of the white Sasquatch that's caught on camera?
Yeah, they filmed it in Pennsylvania, and it's almost identical to what we saw.
No kidding. That's what I was wondering, because that is a really cool video.
Yeah. What year? What was this now? You said it was in '89, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you guys something else too. Yeah. I didn't find this out till here recently, but there was 2 other encounters within 5 miles of mine. Travis's is one of them, the guy y'all got coming soon.
Yep.
But
can't wait to
the other one was a gentleman that owned property adjoining the wildlife management area. And he was up there working, and I was friends with his daughter and did have no idea what he's deceased now, but his daughter knew the story, and I was picking her brain one night, and I didn't offer any information at all. I was hearing her out. And this man was up there clearing land to get ready to pour a footing. He was going to build a house. And that thing charged him, and it messed him up so bad he sold his land. And that was in '92. Yeah. And the girl told me, I said, well, what did it look like? She said, I don't know. But my daddy just said it was big and white. And when she said white, my jaw hit the floor.
Wow. Same one. Especially, I mean, if yours was in '89, that was in '92. That's only what?
3 years.
3 years, yeah. I mean, my guess would be the same one,
Probably. And
I'm looking at a clip of it right now, and that is a scary mother flipper right there. I tell you what, that is crazy.
Yeah, and Thunker broke that down real good.
Yeah, I saw that. Doesn't he do a good job? I really like that guy.
I think he does a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He done and he's rolled out mask because the thing grimaces, it blinks, it's, when you see the facial lines that Thunker uses, all humans line up on these three lines. I don't care how Shaquille O'Neal and Kevin, everybody, all of us line up on those three lines. And when he done the face comparison on that thing to the three lines, it was no way it's human. And he also said no way it's a mask. That is not a mask.
Right.
Because it uses its facial muscles.
Right. If it is a mask, it's you'd have to. It's too much money involved just to do a short little clip like that to hoax something.
Yeah.
It's not realistic. I really believe that's an animal. I do.
Without a doubt.
It is. I'm convinced.
Wow. Man, that's a
as close as
story.
That's as close as it gets to what we saw. It's actually, I've got it on my wall on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do too. Yeah, that's definitely a wow, intense story, Mike. Wow. And how? I mean, how? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, man.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I don't have, ever since I've came forward, man, I don't have a whole lot of problems of seeing it. I mean, my profile picture is a white Bigfoot. I mean, I've surrounded myself with it because I'm trying to face that fear.
Sure.
But what I have a huge problem with is the vocals. When I hear that thing on these YouTube videos, my stomach turns in knots. I cannot handle hearing it.
Yeah, they are. Right. Their vocalizations are very disturbing. That's for sure.
They hit every decibel. Hit every decibel.
Every decibel, and they can imitate anything.
Yeah, but I'd be glad to answer any questions if you guys got them. I mean, to the best of my ability.
Yeah, let me. I don't. You may have mentioned this. You have to pardon me. I get it. Wait, ADD. I forget a lot of things. Yeah. Did you, when you said you looked in the mirror and you saw this thing behind you running behind the truck, saw the torso? Did you know how fast were you going? You know?
Oh well, the last time I looked at my speedometer, when I went into that curve and I almost lost it, I was running between 40 and 45, and that's moving on gravel, especially in the lifted truck, because that truck had been lifted up. It had lift kit, big tires, and all that on it, and so it's top heavy. And when we went around that curve and I went sideways, I mean, I flipped. I didn't look back no more, but I could see its torso in the rear view. If that helped you any.
Right.
That's all I could see was torso.
So it was keeping right up with you for sure.
Yeah. Because like I said, I was going to second gear. When I went from first to second, that's when I looked up, and I caught the torso in the rear view. And when I looked back at the road, I was getting ready to run out of it. And after that, I didn't look back no more. I couldn't. I didn't want to wreck.
So it was going at least 40 miles an hour to keep up with you. We've got reports from, wasn't it TW, his buddy?
Yep.
That he had one running 60 miles an hour next to his
50.
car.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
Like 58, something like that. Yeah.
That is just nuts. These animals they're incredible. They're incredible.
It makes you wonder.
Yeah, well, it was me.
I mean, that's fast. I mean, either way, 40 miles an hour for an animal to run fast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 40 miles an hour was moving on. 40 miles an hour was moving on gravel.
Oh, I mean, unreal. I mean, what's a white-tailed deer top out at? I mean, shit.
Gosh, I don't know.
30-some miles an hour, maybe? 40? The most?
I would say 30. I would say 30, 35 at the most.
35 probably, yeah. Yeah. So you think about when you see a whitetail run full bore, and then, you think about 700 to 1,000 pound, Sasquatch, I mean, running same speed or up to 60 miles an hour. I mean, that's amazing. That's incredible.
I wonder what they do on all fours. If they're faster down on all fours or if they're faster upright. I wonder which.
I've heard they're faster.
Down on all fours or upright?
Of course.
Okay.
That's just what I've heard. I don't know.
I've wondered that.
You know, Will NTW told me that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
well,
I mean,
they would know.
Who knows? Yeah, they would. You know, I've heard they're, you know, actually quite a bit faster than all. They'll get going on twos, get up to their top speed on two legs, and then hit all fours, and they're gone.
Man, it'd be neat to know exactly how fast they can go.
Well, you was asking me about the arm length. The length of its arms, the length of its arms were such that if it bent at the waist halfway, it could have put its knuckles on. It could have put its knuckles on the ground, and its back would have been almost level.
Wow.
I'll be damned. So the body, pretty much the same body type as Patty. When you look at Patty and her arms.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
If it was like more of the wide shoulders that go into a V waist, or if it was just straight down from the shoulders to the hips as a big block, like the Patty type.
It was burly. It won't cut up like Schwarzenegger. It was burly. I mean, not fat, just more rounded like Patty.
Right.
Actually, if you watch the whole video of that white one in Pennsylvania, the bodies are almost identical. So are the faces.
Okay.
Wow.
Gotcha. That's amazing.
I wonder if those two are in the same bloodline or family somehow. The one you saw and the one in Pennsylvania.
Well, I've got a theory, and all right, were all these encounters here, me, Travis, and the other gentleman, all those happened right here on top of the Seminole Trail. Okay. And the Seminole Trail goes from up north all the way to Florida. And I think they're using the Seminole Trail, and I almost know for a fact they're using the Appalachian Trail.
Oh, without a doubt. I had no doubt about that. Yeah.
And I don't know if they migrate or not. It's just, you know, it makes sense. It's a path of least resistance.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's where the game is too. So they're going to be chasing the game. They're going to be chasing the deer, and the deer are always going to take the easy way. So it does make sense.
That and both of them are dotted all up and down the eastern seaboard. They're dotted with wildlife management areas. It's not that great of a distance between wildlife management areas.
No, it's not. No, it's not. There's one
in national forest.
In national forest, yeah. There was one years back. We interviewed a guy, JR and myself. Who else? JR and myself, Shawn. I think before you came on, but we interviewed a guy who saw a big, massive white one in Tully, New York, which is right outside of Syracuse. And it's a pretty it's a big wilderness area, but around that time period, people reported seeing this massive white Sasquatch from New York to Vermont to New Hampshire, Massachusetts to Pennsylvania, you know, and all the way up into Maine. So
yeah,
I don't know if it was the same one, but it's kind of weird that people were seeing this thing in a 3-month period traveling this route. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, making its way from Pennsylvania to Maine. You know,
right.
So how many white ones could it have actually been? You know, with the same description. You know, and he got a damn good look at it too. It describes it a lot like you just did yours. You know.
Yeah, the people that don't even know each other.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing. You know, people that live thousands of miles apart are talking about, you know, hundreds of miles apart to thousands of miles apart. They're describing seeing these same creatures given the same description. You know, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the Native Americans back in the day. You know, they had no contact. You know, the tribes from the East Coast, tribes from the West Coast, you know, central part of the country. You know, they all talked about these things. They had no contact with each other. You know, so I mean, you know, those are things people got to take into consideration when they're, you know, being so skeptical.
Right. Right.
Yeah, well, the next day when we went back, I looked for prints, but we were in a drought. I mean, I didn't have no casting material or anything. I was just looking.
Yeah.
And but we had been in a drought, and the forest floor was it was hard as a gymnasium. I mean, and then it had probably 3 or 4 inches of pine needle litter. But we did see where it dug in going up the bank. That's how I know it took 3 steps, because you could see that you could see. Now, you could have never got a print out of it because it looked kind of like a divot you get when you miss your golf ball, except huge.
Right.
It's kind of what it looked like where it dug in, you know, going up the bank. But we seen where it took those 3 steps going up to the road.
Man. And you said it was covering about 10 feet between steps. You think it was kind of jumping?
I don't know. When it made that move, that's when we scattered. When it made that move, we realized, okay, this thing's not going away. It's coming at us.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, we all panicked. Like I said, I don't even remember getting in the truck. I just remember cranking it.
Right.
And when that sound hit, man, and my eyeballs vibrated, I mean, it really distorted my vision. I mean, and I'm going to be honest with you, man, I felt weird for a few days after that. I don't know. Yeah, lately, you know, since I've been doing research and stuff, people are talking about the infrasound or zapped or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if that's what happened or if it was just the adrenaline rush was so that, you know, it took me a few days to recover, because I guarantee you our adrenaline was out this world.
No, I'm sure. Yeah, we both experienced it. It definitely turns your world upside down, and you know, like I say every show, and I'm sure people are sick of me saying it, but I think it's something that's been in our brain for thousands of years with these things. It's a different kind of fear response than we deal with other things.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, Michael. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I think it's still deeply embedded in it for our ancestors when they had to deal with these things.
Well, it's a primal fear. It's a primal fear.
Primal, right.
We know that there's one other thing that happened, that 3 of us out of the group, 3 of us lost control of our bladders.
Oh, yeah, that happens.
It does.
More than people would like to admit. I've heard a lot of people that happens.
Yep, it does.
And you don't feel it.
And you don't feel it till after. Yep. I can relate.
And that's a level of fear that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, man. That's a primal fear. I never knew that level of fear even existed.
Me neither, bud. Me neither.
Yeah. It's pure dread. It's something that dread. I wouldn't wish on anybody either. It's pretty horrible.
Well, you're looking at something that you know. You if something was to happen, you stand absolutely no chance whatsoever.
Right.
At all.
Yep.
And that's all there is to it.
Yeah. Thankfully, you were in your right mind to get in that truck and get the hell out of there. You never know what would have happened. That guy could have done a world of hurt on all you guys. Oh yeah,
every one of you.
You know, I actually think, and I really do, I actually think, and this is just the bottom of my heart, if that thing would have wanted one or all of us, it wouldn't have been no stomping, it wouldn't have been no snorting, it wouldn't have been no growling, no screaming. The minute that crash happened, it would have been on top of us.
That's true too. Or you may even not have heard it at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you hear that a lot too. A lot. What you just said, that rings true. It really does.
It does.
They try to scare the shit out of everybody. I think maybe it was just trying to get you guys to get out of there, huh?
Scare technique, yeah.
That's what the consensus is about everybody I've talked to and interviews and everything. The consensus seems to be that, and I can't argue with it, that, you know, if it would have wanted one out of the back of that truck, it was close enough to grab one.
Sure. Well, Shawn, I mean, our experiences, you know, yours, the one you saw, the one I saw, we were close enough to where they could have grabbed us if we came at us quick enough. We weren't.
It would have taken 2 seconds.
2 seconds I was 30 feet away from her, and she could have grabbed me. Yours could have grabbed you if they wanted to. They could have. They wanted to put the fear of God into us and get us the hell out of their territory. That's all.
Right.
I mean, a lot of it's fear factor. They put a lot of it's fear. They put the fear into you. You know, if they want to get you,
it worked.
Get you. And it does. It usually does. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Yeah, it worked.
Yep.
Yeah, I wish there was guidelines to these things like we have for bears. You know, like you know what you're supposed to do if you're confronted or you run into one or something like that. And that's kind of what we're working towards, is getting something like that.
Yeah.
The general knowledge out there, so people don't run into these things and lose their shit. But well, for instance, are you able to go out in the woods pretty comfortably now, Michael?
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
it changes it.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
That changed forever. I love to fish, but I will not get that far away. I'm gonna be on a main highway, and I'm not going deep, and I'm damn sure not going out the dark.
Yeah.
And I prefer not to even be alone.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I mean, it ruined Shawn and I are hunters, you know, and I know it changed. I know it changed me for life, Shawn. I know it did you too. It ruined my hunting for a couple of years. I refused to go in the woods. Unfortunately, I'm from a logging family, you know, so I had no choice to go back. But you know, now whenever I'm in the woods, I'm always weary. You know.
Well, when I'm hunting now, I'm not looking. The first thing I'm looking for is weird signs or smells or something like that. It's the deer are a secondary thing.
Yes, exactly.
My first concern are these animals, and then I'm looking for deer. But I still go. Absolutely. But yeah, it took all the relaxation out of it. It took the
enjoyment. A lot of the enjoyment.
A lot of it, yeah. And I'm slowly trying to get that back. I'm trying to get to where it's not freaking me out so bad, and I always go heavily armed.
Yeah.
But you never know. Like you said, if they want you, they're going to get you, and I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up hunting because I'm just not.
No. It's one of the few pleasures I get in life, and I'm not going to give it up. That's
right. But like you said, it does take a lot out of it. It takes the fun, a lot of the fun out of it.
Yep. Sure does.
How about your friends, Michael? The people that you were with, were they?
Oh man, it messed us all up. A couple of them have passed away. One of them joined the Navy, and it's one of them left around here, but he has he's been off mentally. Well, actually, he was kind of off mentally before it ever happened, but you know I don't really socialize with him now because he got to drinking real bad, and he's a government conspiracy theorist. So the government's behind everything, and you know he got hammered. He got drunk one night and tried to tell me the government was behind what happened to us, and the government didn't have nothing to do with that. I mean, I'm not saying the government don't cover stuff up. I know they do.
Right.
But government didn't have government didn't have nothing to do with what happened to us. Who knew we was going to be there?
Sure.
Right. So
and the other one,
crazy.
Oh yeah, man, he's out there. I see him at Walmart from time to time, and honestly, when I see him, I go the other way. But you know, 3 of them have passed away, and one joined the Navy. Now I see him every now and then. He operates cranes down in the shipyard off Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah,
and
good job.
Yeah, man, real good job. He was he put in 20 years at in the Navy, so he's got his pension from that, and then he does the operating of the crane. So he's got good life, man. He's got a good life.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So now, if you don't mind me asking, Mike, where are you in relation to where this happened years back? How far away do you live from there now?
I can be there in about 30, at the most 40 minutes.
Yeah. So is the area you're in now, that is it pretty squatchy?
Yes and no. I mean, it's rural enough where they could move around, and I think about that a lot too, because I got a creek real close to my house, and I know they use waterways, but
yeah, they do.
I mean, I could leave my house and in 20 minutes be in very spooky territory.
Sure.
Yeah, there's nothing to keep them from coming around then.
No.
Have you had any other experiences besides that initial one you had so many years ago?
No, that's the only one. And, we didn't smell nothing. It didn't throw nothing at us. I know that gets reported a lot, but we never did smell any. Now, it was, like I said, it was one of them hot nights. I mean, you remember how hot it was. It was that hot. And, pine thickets get hotter than hell anyway. The pine thicket gets hotter than the aerial temperature. I don't know what it is, but they do. But I haven't had anything, that I could say, oh, yep, that was a Bigfoot. I mean, here recently I've had some unusual things go on, but I mean, nothing that I'm ready to say, that's a Sasquatch.
Yeah, nothing. But, not ready to definitely say it was a Sasquatch. I get it. I understand.
No, yeah, they haven't been on the side of the house or anything.
That's
good.
That's always good. Always a good thing.
Yeah, a lot of people want that kind of crap to happen, and they go out looking for it. Man, I don't. I really don't.
I tell people. I tell people all the time, man. You want to find Sasquatch? Stop looking for him. Go into a hot spot and do your normal thing. They'll find you.
That's right. That's what me and Shawn tell everybody.
Yeah.
Go in, make it look like you're minding your own business. Build a campfire, make it look like you're camping. They'll come check you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll find you.
They'll find you, for sure. Yep. Absolutely.
We'll have a nice picnic in the woods. Yeah, you don't need to set up speakers and do the calls and all that kind of stuff.
Nope.
Once you go into their territory, if they're there, they're going to come check you out.
Absolutely. I think as soon as you get into their territory, they know you're there.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would ever be the type to do any of that calling or beating, doing the knock. I know it gets responses, but the knocking on trees might mean something. You don't know what. I mean, you know what I mean. You could be. Yeah, I mean, I'm personally. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to do it. Because I'm just not. But if the next man wants to. Yeah,
let him do it. I mean, you could be saying, "Hey, I'm coming to kick your ass around the woods, or and then I'm gonna come steal your wife." I mean, you don't know what you're saying to them,
Or either that, or worse yet, you could be saying you're female.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is true.
Yeah, it's fun to go out and find the structures and the footprints and the tree breaks and all that kind of stuff, but I ain't out there trying to get one to come in. That's for sure.
You're right. I could care less if I see one again.
Yeah, I don't want to see one again unless it's behind thick glass in a zoo or something.
It's not a pleasant experience like people think it is.
No, it's not.
And people have no idea how large these things are until they see one. They have no clue.
Right.
People can't fathom how big they are. And I'm not just talking height. I'm not just talking height-wise. I'm talking thickness from front to back, arms, like you said, Mike, forearms, just everything. I mean, people have no idea how big they are until they see one.
They definitely have the ability to put the fear of God in you.
No, That's the truth. That is
Yeah.
the truth.
They'll make an atheist pray to God real quick.
Yeah. That's the truth.
Yeah, it is.
They are the ultimate predator. That's for sure.
Yeah. I know. I know an atheist who ran into one, and he made all kind. You know, he was praying to God pretty heavy that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I bet. Well, I mean, like Mike was saying earlier, turns your world upside down.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Well, you start thinking, you know, your soul better belong to Jesus because your ass belongs to Him. You know?
Right. Yeah,
if He wants it, He's gonna get it.
Yeah, that's right. Good point, man. Good point. Ain't that the truth? Well, shit, Mike, that was interesting, man. We really appreciate you coming on. Unfortunately, we're running out of time here, but that was an excellent, intense encounter, man. That's one of the better. I think. What do you think, Shawn? I think it's one of the better interviews we've done. That was a great story, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Mike. It was great to have you on, man. I really appreciate it personally, and yeah, good story, man. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Awesome.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah. And
oh man, you're entirely welcome.
Yeah, cool.
You're entirely welcome. One of the I did start a group. It's a Sasquatch encounter support group. You know, just for people that have had you know, encounters that was unexpected or traumatizing, you know, or violent encounters, aggressive encounters, or anything. So, you know, like I said, I mean, man, yeah, you did. I just want to raise awareness. You know, like I said, they don't all want to act on cue and eat out of your gift basket.
Right. Yeah. Do you want to share the information with that group? Go ahead and advertise that here for us.
Oh, it's Sasquatch encounter support group.
And how do people find that? Is that on Facebook or?
Yeah, it's on Facebook. I've got two. I got Blue Ridge Sasquatch and Crypto Group. That's on Facebook. That's pretty much my research page. And then I've got the support group, you know, for people that you know want to talk about what's happened, and you know, if they don't want to be outed, I mean, you know, we could talk about it in messages. You know, you don't ever have to go out on the page.
Yeah,
sure. You know,
all very good groups. Yeah.
Yeah, that way, you know, you could keep your anonymity if that's what you want to do.
Right.
Cool, man.
Well, that's great, Mike.
But yeah,
as we said, we appreciate it, man.
And I'm gonna look that up as soon as we're down here. I'm gonna be joining your pages.
All right, man. I look forward to having you.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I've definitely enjoyed being a part of them, man. They're great. You have some good stuff on there. I'm glad Shawn and I really enjoy working with you guys. You know, to exchanging information and stuff. So let's keep it.
Yeah, Travis. Oh, I will. Travis is going to be an outstanding guest, man, when y'all get him, because he's
he's a cool
Travis.
dude.
He got one of the best thermal hits I've ever seen.
And he got
that in the past. Yeah, he got that in the past couple months, and
awesome.
He's got one of the best thermal hits I've ever seen, and he's got a little more story. He's had more interaction than I have.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. Yeah, cool. Yeah, well, we're looking.
We don't live about 30 minutes apart, but we met on a worldwide Bigfoot site. I didn't even know who he was. That's kind of funny. We don't live 20 minutes from each other, and we met on a site.
No, okay.
But you know, he heard my encounter and he messaged me, and then we was on the phone for 2 hours that night because of what he had done, what he seen. His mother and his daughter was with him when he had his encounter. They all three seen it.
Oh God.
But yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, my pleasure, man. I look forward to seeing you guys on the pages.
All mine, man.
Right on.
Absolutely, man. We'd love to have you back on at some point.
Real quick, what exactly is the name of your Sasquatch support group? Is it just Sasquatch support group?
No, it's called Close Encounters.
Okay.
Close Encounters Sasquatch Support Group. And the other one is Blue Ridge Sasquatch and Crypto Group.
All right. Perfect. Yeah, I was trying to figure that out and I couldn't find it, but I'll find it now. Right on.
Yeah. Jeremiah's can probably hook you up too. He knows both of them.
Yeah, right. And I wanted our listeners to be able to find it too.
Yeah, there you go.
Sure,
yeah.
For sure.
All right,
well,
man.
we appreciate it, Mike. We really do. We'd love to have you back on at some point. Everyone, thanks for listening tonight. Big thanks to Mike Patterson here for sharing that intense story with us. He's got some great groups. I'm a member of all of them. Great stuff. If you need to reach Shawn or myself, if you're interested in coming on the show or joining the group, you can get a hold of me at onthetrail.jf@gmail.com, or you can still get me on my JRG address as well, jrg.executive.dirjf@gmail.com, or hit me up on Messenger. And just any questions you have, we're more than happy to answer. We're just here to help and spread knowledge. And I know Shawn's the same way. Shawn, you want to share your info?
Yeah. onthetrail.sw@gmail.com or nebraskajrg@gmail.com, or hit me up on Facebook. I'm a member of the JRG and On the Trail. I'm there, or my personal page is fine too. You can find me anywhere.
Absolutely.
All right,
gentlemen. Well, this has been episode 13 of On the Trail, the Search for Living Legends, with guest Michael Patterson. Thank you, Mike, once again, and have a good night, fellas.
Yep. Have a good night, guys.
All right, man. All right, you too.
Yep. Thanks.
Nice, buddy.
Hey, everybody. It's the voice from behind the scenes here at On the Trail. We want to thank Michael Patterson, the Southern gentleman, for sharing some time with us and his experience. Michael's got a couple of Facebook pages based around cryptids, and one of them is a support group. He calls that Close Encounters Sasquatch Support Group. That's on Facebook. He's also got just a regular kind of research page where, he discusses these kinds of topics. That's Blue Ridge Sasquatch and Crypto Group on Facebook. The team and I would like to thank Steve Baxter for the graphic art that he does for our shows. If you are interested in graphic art, you should check out Steve's Flickr page. He's got a really cool kind of portfolio out there. Jeremiah is going to post a link to his Flickr account in the show notes. At least he's supposed to. If he doesn't, make sure you put in the comments on the show. Put Steve Baxter's link in the show. If you need some graphic work, you can email Steve directly. His email address is chumpanzie@hotmail.co.uk. That's CHUMPANZIE @hotmail.co.uk. If you want to find him directly, you could probably creep around the On the Trail Facebook page. Steve's pretty active there. You'll see him commenting on stuff and giving his input. So Steve's a man. We appreciate everything he's doing, and he's doing that all for free just to help us out. You can check us out on Facebook. We're on the Trail, Cryptid and Paranormal Research. We have a real active page there. Jeremiah's got a hot spot right now. Lots of cool stuff going on the page. Cool pictures, stuff you would be surprised to see on Facebook. I'm telling you what, it's good stuff, especially right now. You want to get in touch with anybody from the show? You can get in touch with us easily. We made our email addresses pretty easy. So if you want to get in touch with Jeremiah, it's onthetrail.jf@gmail.com. If you want to get in touch with Shawn, it's onthetrail.sw@gmail.com. or even Don Gummo. You can get in touch with him at onthetrail.dg@hotmail.com. Want to thank everybody. Thank you for your time. Be good to each other. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Ooh.